Since Adam Idah came into Celtic to be back up to Kyogo, he's been a big upgrade on O. However, Celtic are going to have to pay a big transfer fee if they want to make this signing official in the summer, as Sunsport are reporting that Norwich require a minimum £5 million transfer fee in order to make this deal official. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football. We all know that Adam Idah has sort of hit the ground running at Celtic. He's not necessarily put in the best performances, but he is scoring goals. He's scoring more goals than O. He's getting more game time than O. And right now, he just looks a better player than O. And it could be oh no for O, because if this deal does go ahead, then I can't imagine O will want to stay at Celtic. But is it going to go ahead? Who knows? £5 million for Celtic to stump up to get Adam Idah for an official transfer for someone that is probably not going to be starting games if Kyogo stays at Celtic. It's a lot of money. Celtic have spent £5 million multiple times over the past few years, and most of those times they've signed duds. Barkas was £5 million, Ayete was £5 million, Bernabe wasn't far off £5 million. So the £5 million mark hasn't been a good amount of money for Celtic to spend in previous seasons. Would it be a good amount though for Adam Idah? He has scored 7 goals in 14 appearances, so that's not bad. Not bad at all. Plus, when you think about it, most of them have been as backup. A lot of them have been substitute appearances. So 7 goals, averaging a goal every second game. Had he been playing from the beginning, if he was the number one, you would have to imagine that he would be adding at least a few more goals to that. He would probably be on double figures. You would have to assume. He's also scored some important goals. I remember the one against Motherwell was the one that bagged Celtic 3 points that day. That kept them in contention for the league. He got that important goal against Hibs, and he also got the third goal against Rangers. So he's not just coming on and scoring goals when Celtic are maybe 2 goals up, 3 goals up, and the game's done. No, Adam Idah has come on at crucial points of the games, and he's actually won Celtic matches. So I think that's another thing that you have to consider. Now, he does have 4 years remaining on his Norwich contract, so that will also be contributing to this £5 million price. Had he only had maybe a year left, Celtic could have looked to get him on the cheap. But with 4 years remaining, £5 million actually seems like a fair deal, I think. It seems reasonable. He is only, 23? You've got a potential sell-on option as well with Adam Idah. If Celtic do bring him in, who's to say he can't improve over the next couple of seasons, and then Celtic can look to profit from Adam Idah, something which Rangers Celtic do try and do when they're bringing in players. So I think it makes sense. He's young, and you've got the option of making money on him if he comes to Celtic and he delivers. So I think Celtic will definitely want to sign Adam Idah. It's just a matter of, will they pay the money, and will there be any competition for his signature? We know that Italian top flight Hellas Verona, they were interested in getting Adam Idah on loan back in January. Adam Idah chose to go to Celtic. Be interesting to see though what will happen at the end of the season. Has he enjoyed his time at Celtic? Would he want to make that Celtic transfer complete? Yeah, maybe Celtic want to sign Adam Idah, but we don't know what Adam Idah feels like. He might not want to go back to Celtic next season. He might not like a permanent move to Scotland. Maybe he would prefer to stay in the Championship, or possibly a move to another European league. So it's interesting to see what will happen. I think it would be good. I think for £5 million, it would be a decent signing. I'm not overly impressed with the guy, but he does score goals, and that's something that Celtic and Rangers haven't always had. I mean, if you compare this guy to Ajeti, then fuck me, he's well worth the money. He's better than O. He kind of reminds me of a little bit of Giakoumakis, whereas I don't think Giakoumakis was the greatest player ever, to be honest, and I don't think he had the ability or the quality that Kyogo did, but I mean, Giakoumakis did score goals. He pretty much scored goals to even enough level that Kyogo did. If you look at the time per minute, there wasn't really much between Kyogo and Giakoumakis, and I feel like you've probably got a similar situation here with Adam Idah. He might not be as good as Kyogo, but he's important, and he can be a crucial player, and he is good at scoring goals. So I think it would be a good signing if Celtic make it happen. Remains to be seen though if it does happen now, Rogers was speaking on it. He says, quote, Adam thrives on the pressure here and has a hunger to improve. So we'll assess that at the end of the season. It's not all in our hands. End of quote. So Rogers then basically accepting that as much as he would maybe like to sign Adam Idah, it's not down to him. It's not necessarily down to Celtic. It's about the fee. It's about other clubs. It's about Adam Idah himself. So we have to wait. But Adam Idah turned around and he did say, quote, I honestly haven't looked into what I'm going to do. My main focus has been finishing the season and winning as many games as possible. That's the main target for me and the team. I don't know about other players, but if I look too far ahead, it can affect me on the pitch. I want to finish the season on a high, then see what happens, end of quote. So Adam Idah had a chance there to try and commit his future to Celtic by saying that he'd like to be there next season. He didn't do that, but at the same time, he didn't say that he is looking forward to going back to Norwich. He's playing his cards cool, I guess. You know, he's not revealing too much, and that's probably the best way to do it because we don't know what's going to happen, and there's no point him saying he wants to be here or be somewhere else in case that doesn't happen come the end of the season. Anyway, guys, £5 million for Adam Idah, is that a good amount? Do you think that's a fair amount? Should Celtic pay it? Or do you think Celtic can get better with £5 million? Do you think £5 million would be better suited elsewhere? I do think there's better options out there. But there's also worse options out there, so it depends on Celtic. For me, yeah, you can take a gamble. You could certainly get someone better for £5 million, but we've seen in the past you can get someone a hell of a lot worse for £5 million. So, I mean, it just depends really on what's happening. We also don't know what Kyogo's going to do. He signed that big year deal, but does Rodgers like Kyogo? Does Kyogo want to stay? It could depend on what is won this season. Does Celtic winning a double or does Celtic winning nothing change anything come the end of the season? Possibly it does, so we'll see what happens when the trophies are dished out, and we'll see who's staying at Celtic, and we'll see who is leaving Celtic. Anyway, guys, that's it. Catch you in the next one. Let us know your thoughts down below in the comments. Is Adam Idah worth £5 million?